Hello and welcome to this week's episode of GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Kathy, and I'm laughing because I am filled with excitement right now to bring this week's guest. She is a self-proclaimed chiropractic neurology nerd. She's a great friend of mine who has an amazing practice up in Massachusetts, Dr. Jamie Engel. How you doing today?
Hi, Dr. Kathy. It's so great to see you.
Good to see you. How's the weather up in Beverly?
It was warm the last few days. We had really hot days, and now it's a little cooler today. I think it's going to rain in a minute, just in time for my walk to work.
Of course. And I love that you get to do that. That's the coolest thing is that you get to walk to your office. So tell us a little bit about your downtown area.
Oh my gosh, Beverly's we are about 30 minutes up the coast from Boston. So we are a really adorable New England beach town, really vibrant, upcoming downtown. I always say it was a little bit of luck. When I picked my location, my practice, it wasn't what it is today by any means 10 years ago. And I remember kind of leaving going, is this safe for a woman to practice by herself? And they've redone the street, and it's unbelievable 10 years later what this town looks like. It's one of the most expensive, actually, I think it's number 2 for renting housing in Massachusetts. That's how up and coming my town is now. So it went from this sort of urban kind of quasi sort of there's safe areas there weren't to this vibrant town. It's just unbelievable. And now I live downtown. I walk everywhere, and I'm the president of Beverly Main Streets organization, which holds events downtown. We do block parties and arts fest and all kinds of cool stuff. So and I love being involved in my little city.
That's awesome. And that's kind of the stuff that I want to talk with you about today. I want to get into the neurology, but first and foremost, I want to talk about there's people who are either looking at starting their practice right now, or maybe they started practice a couple of years ago and the whole world went haywire, or maybe they've been in practice a long time, but things happen. Your community dips and comes back, or your community starts to explode, or construction happens. You've kind of gone through all of that. And I remember when they were going through the construction, there was no easy way for patients to get to your office, and yet you came through. So talk to us just for a minute or two before we jump into the neurology about what that was like and how that can translate for someone who may be going through something similar down here.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's such a normal life lesson, right? Just in life in general, there's going to be ups. I've had personal life ups and downs happen, life isn't all rainbows and roses, but if you don't learn your lessons and stay strong, I love looking back at that. There was definitely a ridiculous construction going on when they were completely repaved our street. And here are my poor pregnant patients trying to walk those blocks. And so this is so funny. We actually got patients out of our construction because one of the guys who was working on our street said he watched one of my pregnant women basically crawl in the office in so much pain. And then she just kind of danced out. And I went to go leave my office. It was when I wasn't even in seeing patient hours. And he looks at me and goes, "What the heck did you just do? She crawled in your office and then she just walked out." And I looked at him and go, "Chiropractic, man, it works." And I think it was funny. He ended up being a patient. And it's just, you have to kind of, what is it that I'm trying to put words to it. Those things that you go through in practice really make you stronger. And I know it's so cliche, but it really does, the things that you go through in life. Now, I think one of the biggest lessons that COVID taught me was I love learning lessons from my patients. And this was one of the big ones during COVID. The amount of messages and Christmas cards, things that patients sent us that said, "You were my oasis. You were my getaway from everything going on in the world. This was the one thing I looked forward to." One of my favorite patients, I probably say about all of them, who's a dear friend of mine, is a known sci-fi writer. And her thing was I was the only place she went. So she cosplayed. She dressed up as characters at my office. Every time she came in for an adjustment, she texted me once and said, "Can you adjust me with a tail on?" And I was like, "Oh, these are my people. I love this." But I was like, "I don't know, come down, we'll try." And so I remember my office manager, my assistant, who just wonderful. I have 2 beautiful women who work for me, and I love them very much like family. And I remember we sat down. It was October 2020. And I said to her, I go, I can't stop crying, because yes, we were seeing less people, but we still were doing our best to create this community and this oasis away from the world. And I said to her, I go, I was just watching Footloose, which is funny. It just happened to be on TV. And I think I was working on my notes, and I love the background noise. And I said to her, I go, "I don't want to live in a place that doesn't dance." because I'm watching Footloose.
Right.
When I remember watching that when I was little, going, that could never happen. And if you remember, COVID only gets us when we sing and dance. Remember that was all about? They didn't let us sing
Right.
weddings and stuff, and it was
Right.
ridiculous. And I said to her, I go, what if we have, like, we play Disney music in our office Tuesday. We're a ridiculous office. So we started doing dance party Thursday. And so we still every Thursday. So we made this amazing office playlist between the two of us because she's younger than me. So we span 2 decades. And if the song doesn't make you shake your bum, it's not allowed on our dance party. And I've had patients ask me for this playlist for weddings. One of my teachers plays it to her classroom. Like, we have a bunch of followers on it because patients look forward to that. So we said, heck, we're going to have a party every Thursday, and we're going to create this world outside of the world. And then Star Wars Day came up because we were like, all right, we already do Halloween. We do some cool fundraisers. What else can we do that's just wild? Like, let's take our crazy to the full effect to get people away from this pandemic. So I always wanted to celebrate May the 4th. And I don't like dressing up, which is funny. People don't know that about me. It's way out of my comfort zone, but I do it for my patients because I love the look on their face when they walk in, they see me in full costume. And so this year it was our second year doing Star Wars Day, because last year was the first day, and it was such a hit that this year we went full out. And I remember I had my first male intern, which is odd, from a college down the street. I love my guys. I don't know why I've only had now one guy intern. And during his interview, I said, how do you feel about dressing up for Star Wars Day? And I love him because he was like, hell yes. So as his intern gift, he was like full blown Han Solo. I was Rey, Kat was Padme. And now we have TikTok videos because one of my patients wanted to come down and do silly videos of us like slow walking into her office, and to White and Nerdy by Weird Al. And we've just had so much fun that we attract these like ridiculously fun, nerdy patients. And so it's just, I'm hiring right now. And I think the one thing I hear all the time from people I hire or my interns, that you guys have like the best patients. And I think it's really that energy we put out, and it's really,
you do.
Yeah. And I think it's because it's my silly personality, and that might not be your thing, but one of the best things I think I ever did was put my personality in my practice. And I know you always say that about my office, is that it really emulates who I am. And I love having fun, and I love being dorky, and we just have a blast, and we get our patients involved, and we just have fun,
See, I love that about you, because there's so many people that have either had coaches or heard coaches or listened to speakers tell them that like, it cannot be a personality driven practice,
Mm-hmm.
right? Personality driven practices never work. It needs to be based on systems and structure. And I think that you need a little bit of both, but you blend the personality so well. Like my office, there's always music blasting, everybody's singing, we're having a good time. Your office, people are showing up in costumes. But while you're having fun, the thing that I love about you is that you're constantly educating people. You truly are that neuro nerd, and you embrace it and love it. And I love being at seminars with you because you're like, oh, I got to go meet this writer. And I'm like, what? But you're so into it. And I love that about you, because you don't just hold that to you. It is who you are, and it emanates from you, and you bring that out into the community. So talk to us a little bit about some of the opportunities that you've created, because there's docs right now that could be creating those opportunities here in Georgia. And you've created some pretty neat opportunities with your neurology, with your background, with your interest, with your desire to get this message out to more people.
I just, nothing drives me more crazy than someone coming to in Massachusetts, I always say we're behind with chiropractic. We don't have a school here. People really either think they know what we do and they're wrong, or they have no idea what we do. And it's really a disservice to just lay down somebody and then, smash up their spine, and I'm totally against that. And like, you can't even see the word crack in my office anymore. It's really funny because you see me roll my eyes. But education is just so important, and it's not difficult. And what happened was, I was a neuroscience student, like neurophysiology. I went to UC Davis from California. Don't ask, long story how I moved out here. And my love for neurology just continued. And, I remember I went to Parker's seminar when I was a student. That's the first time I went there. And I just happened to stumble into Dr. Chestnut's seminar. And I remember struggling because my school was one of those subluxation doesn't exist schools. And I knew from working for a chiropractor that wasn't true. Like, there was more to what we do. And I was going to figure that connection out. And I sat during his seminar, and it literally, my mind exploded. It was when he wrote his first book. So of course I followed him through his career, went to his classes and all that. He was even the graduation speaker for my class. And I carried around his book in my backpack So when one of my professors or somebody was like, oh, subluxation doesn't exist, I go, hey, let's talk about it, because it does. And then of course with Heidi Havoc's work and everything coming out now about how chiropractic changes the brain, I don't know how you can't get excited and how you don't want to spread the word. You know, my favorite saying is going to a chiropractor for pain is like robbing a bank and stealing the pens. I probably say that every day in my office. And yes, we have a lot of fun. Like you said, my personality is my practice, but we do have our principles. My reports, we go over the neurology of the chiropractic adjustment, you know, and we talk about how it changes your brain. So, and then of course we do fun workshops in my office and trivias in my office. Even when we have Star Wars Day, there's some chiropractic element in it. So, you know, you can win Star Wars prizes if you do a testimonial for office or tell your chiropractic story. St. Patrick's Day, we give away t-shirts, but we have chiropractic trivia questions. And we have a blast. My patients love it. I was so annoyed because I overheard someone say that patient education isn't important. And yeah, I know, don't get me started. I lost, this is what happens. I'm a Scorpio, so I take my revenge in really ridiculous, creative ways instead of just flat out yelling at them that they're stupid. I made t-shirts for my practice that said, how's your prefrontal cortex? And I had one of my art students create this brain with nerdy glasses. And then the other one's a workout tank top that says proprioception on point with our name on the back. Because they know why they come see me. You know, my patient, I love when my high schoolers, I had 3 messages when sports started up again. Hey, Dr. Jamie, I know it's not my week to come in. Like messages on our phone that said, we have our tryouts for basketball. We have our tryouts for, you know, hockey. I have my tryouts for track. Can I come in and get adjusted first so that I do better during tryouts? Because it's not about these kids, you know, that they're hurting. They want to be in their best potential. And it's not hard to I feel like there's such a big gap between our brilliant teachers. And I found this a lot when I was taking like organic chemistry and biochemistry at the university. There's this big gap between these professors that are super brilliant and then people who are just trying to understand it. And there's this beautiful gray area in between. And that's what my mission is, to help chiropractors understand that you can teach this stuff. You don't have to have a neuroscience degree. You can make it really easy. And one of the best compliments I ever got from a patient was, you don't make us feel stupid. You educate us, but you don't make us feel stupid. And I really think that it's easier than people think. And that's one of my missions, is to try to like bridge that gap so that we don't have patients that walk in my office and say, oh, can you crack me on their first visit? You know, and like I said, our office does have a lot of principles. So yeah, so that education. So we have fun, but we educate them.
Right. And that's a huge compliment, because it is really true about you. You talk, when you speak at different seminars and you start talking about neurology, there are some people who speak about neurology and you could watch half the audience, their eyes just glaze over. They're like, oh my God, I passed my boards already. I don't want to talk about this. And then you speak about it in a way that's like exciting, and it's alive, and it's dynamic, and it's moving, and it makes you really, have fun while you educate your patients, right? It makes it where it not only is relevant, but it's interesting to learn about, and it's interesting for the patients to start to connect the dots with, why are they coming, right? The worst thing is when a patient has no idea why they're coming. Well, because you told me to, right? Because you scheduled me. That's the worst thing. And for them to understand it on a greater level than neck pain, back pain, headache, carpal tunnel, whatever, it's not a symptom reason. It's to optimize performance, which is what we in chiropractic talk about all the time. But when you can explain that and educate people in your community on that level, you get to have fun in your office, and you get to have the May the 4th day and, you know, all that fun stuff that you do.
Yeah. People are there for better function, not for pain. You know, they're there because they know that they function better with chiropractic care. They know that if they bring their kids in, they're going to function better with chiropractic care. They're not afraid to say to their friend's kid who has, you know, reading comprehension issues, you know what, have you tried chiropractic? You know, go to see Dr. Jamie. She'll explain to you how I know it helps the brain, because she's really big on educating. It's something about the front of the brain. It's something about the front of the brain. They can look at their shirt and go, oh, it's the prefrontal cortex. Like, my patients understand that. Like, oh, you know what? This person, it's not just about ear infections and colic. Yes, we see that too in our office, but it's about, you know, the baby's not turning their head. And I actually get this a lot. Hey, in a mom's group, they'll say, wait, your baby's not turning their head? Get to a chiropractor right now. That's about brain development. That baby needs to have an that functioning. I don't really know why. I kind of know why, but Dr. Jamie will explain it to you, because they hear it in my office, you know.
And then they become that that third party endorsement. They're the testimony for you walking around out in the street.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I know you got to get to patients. I know you only have another minute. So give us this little tidbit for the doctors that are watching right now, for the students that are watching right now. Give us a couple of the places where you regularly speak in your community and some suggestions of how people can line up some more community talks.
You know what's funny? The first thing that comes to mind, Dr. Kathy, is in my office. I know it sounds so cheesy, but if you have a patient, like I love I have a love-hate relationship with social media, but one of the cool things about now that I'm doing all my workshops online, it's open to everybody. And my patients can invite their friends and they can just sign on, and they can sign on whenever they want. They're on our Facebook page. So, and I'll say to a patient, hey, and don't be afraid to ask. They're looking for health and wellness speakers, especially right now. When I was approached by one of my she's just graduated from a college up the street. One of my patients who I helped tremendously with different types of autoimmune issues. And this is a young woman. She was working for a female sports organization. And she was like, well, my chiropractor is a public speaker. We should have her come in because she's also a football player and a soccer player and all that. So they asked me to create a work from home workshop. So I love a good PowerPoint because of my ADHD. I need something to keep me focused. So I threw a few slides together and I just did a little ergonomics, a little healthy movement, a little stress. It really is not that hard to throw these PowerPoints together. And they loved it so much that now I got excited about it because I created it myself. So when I create a workshop, I'm excited about it. If I took it from someone else, So I'm talking to my patients, I'm table talking like, dude, I'm teaching this work from home workshop tonight. I'm so excited about it. And then they start coming and going, well, when are you going to teach it in your office? Or, hey, you should come to my company and teach it. So word travels. Like, you wouldn't be surprised if you just happen to say, your church, do they have ever speakers come in? I would love to talk to your church. I won't even charge them. Like, just, I just want to get the word out about health and wellness. What a great time to do that. People are looking for something different. The sick care system is failing them right now. And I'm seeing more and more conversations in my office that I have never seen before. And people asking me my opinions on things as friends.
True.
But I think what a great time. I mean, chiropractic is the answer it was the answer to the opioid crisis. It still is. And it's the answer right now for patients who are looking at what's going on in the world and how we failed miserably over the last 2.5 years. Not only how we treat our body, but how we treat the sick, right? We are the solution. And I truly, truly believe that. And if you can teach a patient how we're the solution, then they're going to teach another person. They're going to teach another. And even if it's just and I say this to patients because they come to my office all the time. Oh, I'm working on my friend. She really needs to come see you. I hear this probably every day. And I look at them and I say, you know what? You never know. One day they may go, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to see the chiropractor. I'm going to go try something different. Right. You never know. So, and encourage your patients to tell their story. And that's why for Star Wars Day, you got raffle tickets for putting a testimonial up on anything social media, Google, Yelp, whatever. You get raffle tickets to win prizes. And so we try, like I said, we try to have fun with it. We try to educate our patients because I feel like so much can be planted in your office that can grow throughout the world or community. Every person you touch can spread that word, right? So every day makes a difference. Yeah, that's why I still teach those not stupid. I love my half-hour new patient orientation workshop. I even saw like someone on a social media feed making fun of it's people who still do their office workshops. I love teaching them. I have their focus. I could teach them about health paradigms changing. I could teach them a little about chiropractic in the brain, and I could send them fired up about health because all they're getting right now is fear, 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 fear. They can come to my office and have that completely changed in 1 half-hour workshop. And I love doing them. I'm teaching one a night. And if there's 2 people, awesome. If there's like 10 people, awesome. I don't care. I'm teaching it. So, and it gets me fired up. So, you got to keep yourself fired up too.
Well, it shows that you are fired up because this is the level of energy that we see from you every time. And I absolutely adore it. I love it. And it's like infectious. I'm like, all right, come on, let's go. I got to go do something now. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking your time. I know you got a busy day as always. I'm sure everybody listening's got a busy day and so thankful to have you, Dr. Jamie.
No problem. Yeah, thank you for having me. Go kick some butt, chiropractors. We need you out there.
We do. And thank you to everybody watching. I want to remind you that this Saturday is our Chiro Cornhole. It's at 2 p.m. this Saturday, June 4th. It's at Dr. Dan Tu's office. That's Friends and Family Chiropractic. It's in Marietta. Come and have a great time. Most of the board will be there. Most of the chiropractors in Georgia that you know of when you think of like, who's hanging out, who's doing stuff, who's the movers and the shakers. They'll be there. So come check it out. Have a great time with us. It's a great opportunity to socialize, have some fun, hang out with some chiropractors. So you'll see it coming along the bottom of the screen right there, Chiro Cornhole, this Saturday, June 4th at 2 p.m. To the rest of you, thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Jamie, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And everybody else, we'll see you again next week right here at Georgia's Chiro Connection. Bye-bye.